Welcome back to the channel, everyone. On today's episode, I am working with Tyler, Gary's son, and he has opted to do the Moto Fab 3-inch front, 2-inch rear leveling kit. You can get this either from American Truck or Amazon. We'll post a link down in the description. First step is to get the truck up in the air, take the brake caliper off, then the tie rod end and upper ball joint. So let's get started. Tyler's going to be doing all the work because it's his truck and he needs to learn. So I get to be cameraman for a change. Again, first step, take the caliper off. Now Gary has these fancy caliper hooks that he got off Amazon. Believe it or not, they work really well. Here. All right, step 2 is taking the tie rod end off the steering knuckle. If the joint starts to spin inside the knuckle, take a 10mm socket, put it on the bottom, and you can just spin it off that way. Give it a tap from the bottom.
Yeah. Here?
Yep. All right, next step is to remove the upper ball joint, this one here, which is the bolt or nut right there. Just like the tie rod end, leave it on like a thread or two. And the whole purpose of that is so if you're swinging your hammer, hitting the knuckle to break it all loose, you don't hit the threads and damage them because we're reusing the ball joint.
Okay.
All right, next step is to get the lower bolts out of the strut. Next step, we've got the 3 nuts on top of the strut. And then we can get the strut up and out of the way. On this last nut and bolt for the strut, there's a plastic capture for one of the wire looms or hoses or something. Get a panel popper. You can just lift up and it'll come right out of the way. All right, so we got the top 3 nuts off the strut. Take the last nut off the upper ball joint. As you can see, the ball joint's already free. All right, so now when you start moving things around, it's all gonna come apart and stuff's gonna start falling down. So be careful when you do this. You might wanna get in a squat position instead of sitting on your butt. And I'll get out of your way.
Just take this out.
Yeah. Lift up on the upper ball joint or the upper control arm. Lift up.
Well.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so when you lift up on the upper control arm, freeze the bolt out of the way, you can pull the knuckle out of the way. Now you're gonna reach up, grab hold of the spring of the strut, push down on the lower control arm, like right here. I'll push down, and everything comes out of place. Weasel your strut out of the way, and there you have it.
Do what?
And then once you get your strut out, you can do curls with it. All right. So, next step is to prep the spacers that will go on top of the strut. And what you've got here is 3 threaded holes and 3 slip throughs. Okay? So, on the threaded side, what you're going to do is take one of the supplied cap head screws and thread it in like that. That way, once you get all 3 threaded in, you can take a 5mm hex bit and run them all the way in. All right, one of the things you want to make sure is you get these bolts or these hex head cap head screws really torqued down, because you can't get to them unless you take everything apart again. Good. All right, so now that the cap head screws are in and torqued down, put the spacer plate on top of the strut, get the new supplied nuts, put them in the hole, get them started. We'll run those down with a impact driver and then torque them. All right, next step before we start reassembling is to remove the sway bar link from the lower control arm. Let's see how long it takes before he figures it out. Those of you at home, leave a comment below. Tell us what's wrong.
Is it too big?
The nut on top spinning.
Oh.
All right, so we got the top spacer bolted in, torqued down. Gonna set this inside. Now, online, different videos say that the lower mount actually rotates inside the strut itself. Ours didn't rotate, so we're just gonna put it in and hope for the best. All right, so we were fighting trying to put this all back together. So what we did, we pushed the bolt through the bottom control arm, spun the little captive nut for the bottom of the strut a few turns. What we're going to do is we're going to run the impact and suck those nuts back down into place. Meanwhile, we are going to push the top of the strut back up into its cradle and start the 3 nuts that Gary just put on the threads.
Don't we have to get those through the hole first?
Yeah, I was just checking to see, make sure we have the right ones.
Okay.
Nothing like having the wrong nut. All right, you ready?
What am I doing?
Lift.
Push up. Keep pushing. Push through. Yep. Hold. 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 All right, you can release. Oh, no, we're good.
All right. I don't think that one was started far enough.
Well, that one's definitely not on the other side then.
No, I can't now.
Remember the first thing I told you about this impact gun? Forward and reverse. Working on your own car is fun. All right, hit it.
What?
No, that should be good. We'll finish it off with by hand. All right, we'll finish it off by hand. Make sure the tabs are pushed into the slot, the flat blade screwdriver. All right, the bottom's in. Now we're going to reattach the sway bar link. This goes in first. Bolt first. Then the long spacer. Then up through the sway bar itself.
That's
And
not
Gary's going to jack up the jack so we can get into the sway bar. All right, with a whole lot of fight and struggling and a few choice words, we have got the upper control ball joint into the steering knuckle. We've got the tie rod end into the steering knuckle. We have the 2 bolts. They're bolted in place. Got the 3 nuts in place there. And everything is still loose, but we're putting it back together. So we're putting the caliper back on. We got all the bolts tight and torqued down. Gary pulled out his handy dandy brake caliper tool, which compresses the piston. And now,
Bolt.
yeah, there's a tool.
And 2 bolts.
Now he is getting ready to put the bolts back into the caliper. All right, so Tyler has opted for the really pretty spiky lug nuts. Even comes with its own super deep socket to make sure you can actually put them on. Let's spin the wheel. That looks good. All right, so Tyler got that side done. We're gonna move over to the other side. You don't need to watch us do the same thing twice. So next time we'll be on the rears. All right, we're back here on day 2 of this 2 to 3 hour lift kit upgrade. We are now working on the back side. On the driver's side, you've got this 13mm bolt for the brake line, and there's a plug right here. Grab your panel popper, pop that loose, and then there's another 13mm bolt right here. We'll use a ratcheting wrench on that one to break it loose. We've already got the tires off. It's up on stands, and we'll go from there. All right, got the 2 bolts out. Next is this little Christmas tree fitting. Go ahead and pop that out with the panel popper. There we go. Now the lines are loose, so when we lower the axle to replace the block, nothing gets stretched or broken. All right, next step, we are going to remove the bolt from the lower shock. 21 millimeter on the impact driver and a 13/16 wrench. As you can see, we've got the axle balanced on 2 jack stands and the floor jack. All right, now it's time to remove the U-bolts, lower plate, nuts holding it all together. Again, this is a 21 millimeter. We've got all the U-bolts off, and we're now lowering the axle to remove the factory blocks. And hopefully get up here. Right. Might want to step back, Tyler. Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't go any further. The drive shaft should hold it in place. Yep, on both stands. Well, that was terrifying. All right, so this is the factory block. It's about a 1 inch space. This is what we're putting in. It's a 2-inch leveling spacer. Notice the pin that will seat into the axle. There is a small taper. The taper goes towards the front of the vehicle. All right, we're going to drop that. All right, it's in the pin. The pin's in. All right. What we're going to need to do is be able to mash this spacer in. All right, so we're going to lower the rear axle so we can get these 2-inch spacers in between the leaf springs and the axle. That way it'll all fit back together. Drop that jack stand all the way. All right, now watch your toes and fingers. I'm going to start to lower. It will rotate back towards me, I hope. Starting to come down. More. All right. All right, more. All right, stop. All right. I need to. How far off are you on? All right, can you pull it back any? All right, Gary, jack up the main jack. All right, I'm in the hole. You in the hole still? Yep. All right, keep going, Gary. All right. So, that's good, Gary. All right, so the new spacer blocks are placed in the pin coming off the lower of the leaf spring and the one coming up, or the one going down from the block into the axle, have all lined up on both sides. And this is definitely not a one-person job. It took 3 of us and a cameraman, so that's 4. And then we have everybody hanging out, so that's like 9. All right, let's grab the U-bolts, set them in place, we'll put the bottom plate back on, nuts, put it all back together. All right, then we can jack it up the axle and put the shock back into its mount, put the bolts in, and we'll go from there.
When y'all are done, there's one over here. Yeah, I was about to say, you want to try ours? Come play around in.
All right, so it looks like this is going to be nice and fun. Always use an extra hand. Put the nuts on, hold it in place. All right, so we got the U-bolts on, nuts and washers, which are the supplied hardware. Tyler was mentioning that the nuts are a little stiff going on because of the paint on the U-bolts. All right, go ahead and hit them. Watch your fingers. All right, it's time to put the shock back in the cradle. We'll jack up the axle. Tyler's going to guide it all together. Of course, his hand's in the way. I can't see the hole. All right, spacers are done, so now we're going to reinstall our brake lines. Starting with that one up in there, wherever it is, he can feel it, I can't even see it. So as we're out here doing this suspension lift for Tyler, or spacer lift, my neighbor, Texas Sun Roofing, is out there doing a video on his Christmas lights. And He also did the lights at my house. I'll leave the link down below. Go show them some love. They do good work. All right, brake lines are reinstalled. Got to figure out where this one Christmas tree goes, and then we will get all the stuff out from underneath it and put the wheels back on. It went there. All right, so got the tires back on. Going with the spike lug nuts. The rears were definitely easier to do, although it need 6 hands to do it. Fronts were definitely a one-man job, but took a lot longer. Overall, it looks great.